A very good morning to one and all present here. Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Government of India, in association with National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, Hyderabad, and Abdul Nasir Saab State Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, Mysore, is organizing this two-day regional workshop for coastal states and union territories on People's Plan Campaign 2021. The present workshop is being organized in the backdrop of preparation of Panchayati development plans by the PRIs of all three tiers across the country in order to ensure effective participation of the community in the preparation of plans. The People's Plan campaign is done during October to December every year. During the last 2 years, special campaign has been launched for the coastal states and union territories to share their experiences and best practices.
I'm happy to say that Karnataka was one of the key states that participated during the framework preparation of the integrated planning architecture, including taluk development plans as well as district development plans. So right now, since we already have it in the Act, we are looking at implementation of the same, and it is happening in a very robust manner, thanks to all our CEOs and CPOs at the district level, and also the EOs at the taluk level and PDOs at the Gram Panchayat level. It is a celebration. Whenever we do a Gram Sabha, it is done in the form of a celebration. They can actually open their Gram Panchayat asset mapping, see where the schools that are currently there, distances of the schools to the habitations, and then locate it at a place where it's much more required. So in this manner, I think Panchtantra 2 will be a game changer. All payments again will happen virtually. There won't be any check issue or anything. And we have very vibrant dashboards, all MIS and dashboards at all levels, so that there is constant monitoring. And most importantly, we are trying to strengthen Gram Panchayat presidents and all the elected representatives, because at the end of the day, Gram Panchayat should not be officer driven. It should be an elected member driven, participatory, and a grassroots democracy exercise. So in this regard, again I must congratulate Lakshmi Priya. SIRD has taken a lot of initiatives. In fact, capacity building, I think in Karnataka is of paramount importance to us, especially in RDPR. So constantly, we have already trained 88,000 GP members who got elected in December within 3 months time period for a 5-day hybrid mode of training. In fact, I think people are very comfortable with using technology. It is as so many times we think that maybe people can't kind of understand, but we have got very good responses. I must also say that our Panchayat members are between the ages of 35 to 45, maximum number of them, and we have 50% women reservation. And there are some Panchayat presidents who've done their PhDs, who have written from abroad, who have worked in the corporate sector, but they have come back to their villages to develop their own village. So I think in Karnataka, it is a huge turning point. We are leveraging technology for ensuring grassroots level democracy. And workshops like this, I think it will bring in a lot of insights from the state government, from the central government, and also from NIRD and all the other states.
The PPC, as you know, is in its 4th year. So you people are not new to the People's Plan campaign. It begins on 2nd October and will continue till 31st January. And the purpose of this campaign is mission mode preparation of plans. The planning exercise has to be culminated successfully by the end of January. In the 15th Finance Commission, we have an added responsibility of preparation of the block level development plans as well as the district panchayat development plans. So it is now becoming more comprehensive. The gaps which were left in GPDP are now will be covered in the block level in the district level planning. The GPDP, the focus is on convergence and the participation of line departments along with the shoulder to shoulder with the panchayat elected representatives and other stakeholders. The way I like to think about it, being from a railway background, is it's like a bullet train. And the line departments just need to onboard the coach and it will take you to the destination. The thing is, we need to come together. Convergence, it has to be nothing less than total convergence, and communication is the key to a successful PPC as well to a successful delivery of the planning process. We are able to provide them as sustainable units of economic development with provision of different services, and that is where your planning process comes in place. There is no dearth of money. The Government of India through its various ministries, through its various programs, through the Finance Commission, through Manrega, has devolved a large amount of fund right to the Gram Panchayat level. So we have certain dashboards which we have prepared. During the presentation, as I said, we'll be showing it to you, including e-Gram Manchitra. I'm glad Karnataka has taken a lead. I'm glad that we have today around 6 states and 2 UTs and around more than 113 participants from all these places. So there is going to be a lot of information sharing, experience sharing, and I'm really looking forward to share what we are doing to bring you up to date and how you can make yourselves into a more kicking and dynamic unit in terms of planning, processing, implementing, monitoring, as well as talking to you, taking back your experiences to modulate what we are planning here.
In Karnataka, the Gram Panchayat Task Force, which has worked on COVID with science-based awareness, effective COVID management, and now having run COVID care centers, is now focused on vaccination. I think the COVID task force has been an example of convergent action, localized planning, immediate response, and action on the ground, leading to impact. Building on this, we have also taken up a program to grow the Gram Panchayat task force into a Gram Panchayat public health task force, so that it can address acute issues of public health which have social determinants, such as tuberculosis, non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension, anemia, malnutrition, and also mental health issues. We have launched a Gram Panchayat level screening and referral program in 2,800 panchayats across 14 districts. This program is going to show us, it's a very large pilot, but I think large pilots are very, very useful to take a program to scale and to show the impact that we can have by screening and identifying NCDs, anemia, malnutrition. These are all acute public health problems with social determinants. The information is, the better the participation in the planning. It would be ad hoc, and it would be not a very transparent process if information was not freely available to people. And therefore, we feel that planning is a process where the voices and aspirations of all the people of the panchayat, whether it is the elderly, the disabled, the marginalized sections, the tribal people, the nomadic communities, even the children who are out of school or children with disabilities, women, all voices should be heard in the planning process. And this is our effort.
A very major sort of initiative which was pointed out by Principal Secretary Karnataka is that when the panchayats, new panchayats come in, now they are in the process of preparing a 5-year perspective plan, long-term plan, 5-year plan, which covers the entire duration of the elected panchayat. That's a very good beginning. It needs to be replicated elsewhere. And in fact, I am happy to inform that last year we had initiated an exercise where we had got the best schools of planning and architecture faculties, scientists of National Remote Sensing Agency, NIC, and other experts to come together and prepare geospatial plans, taking into account the latest sort of satellite imagery maps, watershed development plans, and prepare the development perspective plans for 34 Gram Panchayats spread across 17 states. The focus would be on localization of sustainable development goals, on making the local community accept those SDGs as goals which they need to achieve in a defined time frame. These could be related to attainment of the goal of zero hunger, good health and well-being, or whatever. 8 or 9 such sustainable development goals have been identified. Certain other issues relating to how to make Gram Sabhas more vibrant, how to ensure greater public participation in this entire planning process. And as was mentioned by the Joint Secretary, the GPDPs do not remain merely a reiteration of the wish list of the people, but they actually do get implemented. All these things will need to be taken care of. And I'm sure during the deliberations, you will have occasion to address these issues. I hope it will be a very focused discussion. Experienced people from NIRD, PR, SIRDs, they are participating in this program. They are organizing this, and I'm sure they will lead the discussions in such a manner that the outcome will be beneficial, and every participant who is attending this program, they go back with the satisfaction that it was 2 days well spent. Well, they got a wealth of information, new ideas to ponder over and work upon. So I wish this 2-day regional conference all success, and I thank the organizers for organizing this program in a good manner, and I'm sure it will be extremely useful and beneficial to all concerned. Thank you.
On behalf of NIRD-PR and also on behalf of the organizing team, SIRD Karnataka and also MOPR, I take this opportunity to sincerely thank our respected Secretary Sir for giving a very inspirational speech and setting very clear tone what is going to happen. This thing after a long-term perspective, he has given so many points which we have to look into that and deliberate, sir. We will be seriously taking this, your suggestion, sir. I thank you on behalf of the team. And I also take the opportunity to thank our Joint Secretary, Madam, Rekha Yadav, Madam, who was inspirational and behind us in pushing this particular workshop in a systematic manner. I thank you, ma'am.
The Indian Constitution, it has mandated that the panchayats are the key bodies for preparation of plans for economic development and social justice. And not just the preparation of the plan, but the implementation thereof also. This becomes especially important in view of the direct devolution of funds. Since now 14th Finance Commission funds have been given to the panchayats, now 15th Finance Commission funds have also been given to panchayat, the block panchayats and district panchayats. So it becomes all the more important. And you would have from the discussions which were held in the first session, that the role of panchayats has been growing in the day-to-day operations, especially in sectors of health, education, nutrition and skill development, women and child development, social sectors and economic sectors both. So the idea of the GPDP was that we have one panchayat, one plan. However, what has been missing is what has been commented on earlier in the day today is about perspective planning. That where do we see, like what happens is each year we plan, it is truncated into small parts, but those truncated parts do not make a complete whole. We need to think as a panchayat as to where do we want to see ourselves after say 5 years, and then break down the activities and our plans, the annual plans of the GPDP or the BPDP or the DPDP, they need to reflect or fit into the bigger picture of the perspective plan.
Integrations in Gram Sabha, I think two kind of exercises. One is vertical, one is horizontal. Vertical is like Karnataka, we were talking about Habitation Sabha, Ward Sabha, and then Gram Sabha. Also, we routinely conduct Mahila Gram Sabha and Makkala Gram Sabha. So, women Gram Sabhas are routinely conducted before the main Gram Sabha to actually give women a safe environment for them to openly express their concerns, and through technology in P2 we are ensuring that those demands are going into the main Gram Sabha agenda. Otherwise, it just becomes like an exercise where people come, talk and go away. And then this is taken up in the main Gram Sabha.
Apart from line departments, there are nodal officers for each Gram Panchayat. They'll have to go and participate, not only participate, but also record what's happening and report to the district collector, which is consolidated at the state level. And in in Tamil Nadu, the position of Gram Sabha is very vibrant because of the nearly 2.5 lakhs of SHGs in Tamil Nadu, very brilliantly participating in Gram Sabha because they are highly vociferous, very articulative in placing demands in the Gram Sabha because of a lot of literacy improvement and all that. And moreover, Gram Sabha is deciding what could be done for each habitation.
Those kind of initiatives, it goes on to prove that the Gram Sabhas have to, or the panchayats have to, kind of effectively discharge the function. It will reflect in development. As regard the vibrant Gram Sabhas, we just have issued an advisory where 6 to 12 Gram Sabhas have to be held each year. And each Gram Sabha, whether it is held once in 2 months or every month, there would be specific areas which will be discussed at length. That will help in dissemination of scheme related information. Otherwise there was a constant peeve that the ministries keep on asking, abhi Gram Sabha kar do. What happens is you leave everything, you make a Gram Sabha, and then it is again a ticking of a box. When you are having a Gram Sabha, it has to be, like maybe you could fix a date, say if it is monthly, say the first Wednesday or Thursday, depending upon what time people would be available. So it is across the state, or maybe if you have a panchayat secretary looking after 2 or 3 more, you could fix a date for each Gram Panchayat or a block or whatever, that is, we can't micromanage. But that would help. And then this is the focus area for this month. We already know in advance. So then you can plan it out better. There will be greater accountability, greater monitoring. That part of it could be taken care of. As regard, Madam, what you were saying, it is, I would request, in fact, all of you, we must share. There is so much of good work which is happening across. It's only when, this is the biggest takeaway from these workshops, is that we get to hear about the wonderful work which is being done in the actually at the field, at the Gram Panchayat level, which we otherwise do not get to know. Reading it on paper is entirely different than discussing it, and brainstorming about it. So thank you very much for that. We would request you to please share with that. Abhi UNFPA will be sending a letter to you all for compiling the best practices across the states, whichever panchayat has done in whichever. And since Karnataka has taken lead in so many, it's always better to, rather than reinventing the wheel, take from all sources. So we would request you for that.
Kerala stands first in SDG, I think. And in Kudumbashree activities also, Kerala has gone a long way. And in women participation in local economic development and poverty eradication also, Kerala has gone a long way. And in MGNREGA, we could bring better convergence with GPDP also. And our performance is the best, I think, in MGNREGA this time. And this is only because of the convergence we have brought into this Grama Panchayat plans. Talking about convergence here, but if we come out of that, we cannot do that much of convergence. Now an excellent convergence is taking place in Kerala. So our humble request is that we should be given time up to March the 31st so that we can come up with a better integrated plan with GPDP as well as Central Finance Commission grants. That is our request, Madam.
While we look at Kerala as the epitome of planning processes, the same is not being reflected. So thank you for telling us. Please document your best practices. It is, these are just 8 states which you have, I'm sure they're going to, during the lunch hours, they're going to ask you. But we would like, and most of the states would have some success story or the other which needs to be replicated over the other states. So I would request you all, we would also be collating it, but you must please share it with us. We don't have to ask you also. Whenever something is happening, please share it with us. So we'll be more than happy to put it on our website, to include it in our, Gramodaya Sankalp. These are what we are looking at to, draw more confidence in the local governance, for not just for other states, but also for the entire hierarchy.
on the basis of it data I got from Odisha State Disaster Mitigation Authority. Thus the institution which is really making a stride for last 10 years. This super cyclone I need not have to tell, this was the story which begins and which really germinated and triggered the community disaster management system for the state of Odisha. In the year 2000, we all decided with the right leadership, our Honorable Chief Minister who is there for last 25 years. We had that zero human casualty, that was the first strategy visioning. Then second is reaching out every one disaster area with warning and communication. That was the one of the non-negotiable, premeditated things which has to be in the architecture before we take up anything. Sheltering all the needy and recoursing and evacuating everyone from the vulnerable zone. So in that village disaster management plan, all coastal districts were covered with the village development disaster management plan. That's mostly the community-based disaster reduction plan, and involving the Gram Panchayat and women SSGs. It's from response to planning. What exactly, what I'm showing you two verticals. You see the response was earlier, what was there, and what we have put in structure as on date. That whatever the response, no precise forecast, no warning, no preparedness, no evacuation, that was the year 1999. But 2021, we have zero casualty because of such planning. The planning, the disaster management plan, all the Gram Panchayat, they have in the Ostoma, they have dossier of each Gram Panchayat, the village disaster management reduction plan and community-based disaster management plan.
पोस्ट डिजास्टर में हमें थोड़ा सीखने को मिला इस बार. ताउते हिट बैडली इन ऊना तालुका ट्वाइस. तो ऑल ऑफ ए सडन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी और मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी उसका प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, लेकिन इन 24 आवर्स वी हैव रिकवर्ड. उनमें से हमने अब जीपीडीपी में ये प्लानिंग में लिया है, जो पीजीवीसीएल के जो वायर्स है उसको अंडरग्राउंड टोटली कोस्टल विलेजेस है उसमें अंडरग्राउंड करने का प्लानिंग एक लिया है. दूसरा सर, हमने जो रोड्स की बात की थी, तो रोड मनरेगा के तहत कन्वर्जन करके मेटल रोड का प्लानिंग करें तो जल्दी से ठीक हो जाएगा, उसका एक प्लानिंग किया है. और इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का भी इश्यू गांव में रहता था, तो उसके लिए सोलार हमने सर 65% सोलार विलेजेस में, पर्टिकुलरली कोस्टल एरिया के लिए. और सर हमने थोड़े सजेशंस भी भेजे हैं स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को कि जो कोस्टल एरिया के जो हाउसेस हैं तो उसमें वो शेल्फ झुपड़ा जो होता है वो उड़ जाते हैं, और फिशरमैन और कुछ कम्युनिटी जो है उसको ये दरिया के पास के इलाके में ही रहते, कितना भी आईसी कर ले लेकिन वो बाद में 2-3 घंटे बाद वहाँ ही चले जाते हैं. तो उनकी ये रिक्वायरमेंट है कि जो विलेजेस दरिया के एकदम पास है, सी फेसिंग कोस्टल एरियाज, तो उसमें पीएमएवाई जो हमारी स्कीम है उसमें ये प्रोविज़न कोस्टल एरिया के विलेजेस के जो बेनिफिशियरीज है उसके लिए अलग से हो. और एक सर ने बोला अर्थक्वेक प्रोन, हमारे तालाला तालुका में कॉन्स्टेंटली ईयर में 1 या 2 बार अर्थक्वेक एक्सपीरियंस वी आर फीलिंग. तो उसके लिए अर्थक्वेक प्रूफ आवास योजना में अगर ऐसा हो सकता है तो, क्योंकि गुजरात में ये डिज़ास्टर आपने बोला था कि पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ आवर लाइफ, बट कम से कम लोगों को नुकसानी हो, और मतलब हो ही नहीं 0% हो जाए, ऐसा हमारा प्लानिंग है. और जीपीडीपी में अभी शेल्टर हाउस है, उनका हमने मल्टी पर्पज़ यूज़ किया था सर. डिज़ास्टर के वक्त सर इवैक्यूएशन करके शिफ्टिंग करते हैं लोगों को, लेकिन जब वो कोरोना में हमें सर ने बोला मेरा गांव कोरोना मुक्त गांव, तो सर हमने शेल्टर होम्स को कोविड सीसीसी को कोविड केयर सेंटर के लिए यूज़ किया था. और सर जानने की बात है कि उन लोगों को पता चला कि 2 दिन बाद ताउते आने वाला है, तो गांव में जो कम्युनिटी ग्रुप है, जो इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप, उन्होंने उसके लिए अलग से शिफ्ट करवा दिया, और तब हमने शेल्टर हाउस का यूज़ इन लोगों को इवैक्यूएशन करने के लिए किया था. सर,
as you all know, Kerala has 25 years of experience in decentralized planning. So we could go a bit ahead in disaster management plan also. And Kerala is experiencing a lot of disasters in recent days, especially from 2018 onwards. Floods and landslides are bothering us to a great extent. But the role of LSGIs or the strength of the local governments help us to effectively management the situations, even the pandemic also. This disaster management plan based on these templates were prepared, and then it was submitted to the DPC, that is District Planning Committee, where it was vetted, and a team was there to vet it, and finally approved by the District Disaster Management Authority headed by the collector. This was the sequence. State Disaster Management Authority has prepared several maps. More than 30 maps were prepared by the Disaster Management Authority. That was on land use, assets, roads, and also disaster-prone areas, that is flood-prone as well as landslide-prone areas, lightning, earthquake, etc. were scientifically mapped, and this was circulated among the local governments. And so it became a scientific, systematic, and comprehensive, and a practical DM plan also.
I just had a look at the session, and the session says that it's on convergence of the schemes. So basically my presentation talks about Atal Pension Yojana. So Atal Pension Yojana was a scheme which was launched in 2015 when PM announced, when it was announced in the union budget. And the scheme was rolled out by the government and given to us, PFRD, Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority. We have an established NPS architecture on which we have been leveraging to promote and roll out the scheme for coverages. Saturation. Now this is where we would need GPDP's help, because now earlier we used to roll out targets to the banks which are still relevant. However, recently now the focus has changed from just a targets-based approach towards a saturation-based approach. The connection which can be made between Atal Pension Yojana, the established architecture, and GPDP is the last mile when the bankers at a grassroots level start interacting with the Gram Panchayats. They start participating in the Gram Sabhas. They put up the canopies or camps over there to promote the scheme, and eventually the convergence can happen. One, ma'am, we are talking about best practices. So even we have compiled the best practices which banks have undertaken at their end. And out of that, one relevant best practice which I can see straight away over here is that one of the rural banks in Maharashtra, what they used to do was they used to approach the nearest village and the sarpanch over there, and we give a very nominal target of 60 accounts per branch to the banks. So what they saw was that sarpanch usually is a senior senior person in a village, maybe in the age bracket of 50 to 60, and they used to go there and celebrate his birthday in particular village, and the only request they had was कि sir आपका जितना age है उतने account हमें उस दिन आपसे enrollment चाहिए. So the sarpanch used to make sure that those many number of accounts used to get enrolled for that particular bank in that branch in that particular day, और उसका एक दिन में ना पूरे साल का target हो जाता था. Like GPDP would actually help us, and as you said, na, getting a foothold over there, and eventually the implementation has to be done by the banks. So those agencies are already in place. The only thing is that what we can see is that through GPDP, we can have a mass outreach at a grassroots level. So that is what we can see. We are going to make sure that the banks, they go all out and they, try to canvass and promote APY. The only thing is if they can be helped through GPDP by the sarpanch or the panchayat officers over there, that will be beneficial.
Today morning, Rekha ma'am was taking the session on People's Plan campaign, and she mentioned VPRP across her slides. So you might have noticed it. So I am here to explain what VPRP is and what is Day and Arlam strategy to make sure that a comprehensive plan is developed from the SHG network to ensure that this plan gets integrated into the GPDP plan that is prepared by the panchayats. So before going to VPRP in detail, I would like to say that Kudumbashree NRO, along with the Day NRLM, developed the whole concept of village poverty reduction plan, and NRLM started the concept of poverty reduction plan from the year 2018 and it was implemented across the states.
So VPRP is a comprehensive demand plan which is prepared by the SHG network. So the SHG women, they come together, they discuss their issues, their demands. So the issues could be with regard to infrastructure problems in their panchayat, or it could be with regard to social issues in their panchayat. Their demands could be with regard to different schemes and their need for it. So they discuss their issues, their demands in the SHG groups and prepare a demand plan. So this demand plan is VPRP is facilitated by a cadre, a facilitator. So I think sir was talking about information dissemination or awareness gap. So during VPRP, in the process of it, as SHG women come together, as they discuss their issues, as they discuss their need for demands, they are, the plan is facilitated by a facilitator who provides information. So they provide information for different kind of schemes, the eligibility criteria, what are the benefits out of those schemes. So social development plans are a part of low cost, no cost. So in social development plans, VOs come up with social issues that are present in their panchayat and they try to prepare a plan of how to address those social issues with help of their panchayat through minimum cost involved in it. So last year, we gave national level training, as Elizabeth also talked about, national level training for VPRP. So NMMU and Kudumbashree NRO were the trainers, and we also had panelists from MOPR and NIRD. So in the training was in 2 phases. In the first phase of the training, we trained people, we trained all the participants on concept seeding, plan preparation, Gram Sabha preparations, mobilization strategies, and integration options, like how they can integrate VPRP into GPDP, either through Gram Sabhas or through consultative meetings. So for the second phase of training, we received feedback regarding VPRP, what were the problems or issues they faced on field. And also we had prepared a MIS dashboard for VPRP, so we gave them training regarding the MIS.
Moving towards VPRP of this year, which is 21-22, NRLM along with Kudumbashree NRO developed a new strategy, and we decided that we will develop a mobile-based application this year. This mobile-based application makes it a little more easier for the community and the facilitators to get the demands from the SHG networks and the household across the village.
Rekha Madam highlighted importance of evidence-based planning in her presentation. How it is linked with Gram Manchitra, how it is linked with Bhuvan Panchayat. All these things we have been listening from morning. Again, Shilpa ma'am, she also focused on the significance of analysis and presentation of data for formulation of proper and quality plans. That also we listened from her. So in this context, why this data or why this evidence-based is important for formulating quality, professional, holistic and inclusive plan? In normal practice, we are identifying some activities and upload them onto eGram Swaraj based on common subjectively perceived needs in lieu of objectively assessed needs. And you see, if you see, when you are preparing plan, there is a gap. Okay, gap, but where is the gap? Gap, between the information we collected or on the basis of which, we are preparing plan and real needs of the people. There is a gap. So we are unable to identify and capture the real developmental needs and requirements of the people. And to, improve service delivery. We can come to know, what are the needs and the requirements of the people. Accordingly, services can be provided to them. So now Ministry has come with one proposal, that is, citizen charter. What is the citizen charter? We have to provide quality services within a short period of time. If you are providing quality services, after 1 year or after 2 years, that is of no use. So you have to provide quality services immediately.
This workshop is very interesting and resourceful. in Kerala experience, GPDP planning started a long back, I think, during People's Campaign program. Passed these suggestions passed, that is working group, a draft report is formulated from the working group, and these passes to the this working group passes to the Grama Sabha. Grama Sabha discuss this working group report, and they include their suggestions and make final, not final, make a final, that is semi-final report. And after this, again working group discussed this Grama Sabha's report, and finally development seminar has to finalize the project for each panchayat. Special Grama Sabha and Urukutams are going on, and special Grama Sabha means tribal area, special senior citizens, women, specially abled, differently abled, and also other integrated sectors, that is MNREGA.
खेड़ा जिला पंचायत की प्रमुख के रूप में पिछले 4 साल से कार्यरत हूँ। इससे पहले भी साल 2003 से 8 तक हमारे खेड़ा जिला पंचायत के प्रमुख के रूप में मैंने कार्य किया है। यह तीसरी बार है जो मुझे मेरे जिले के प्रमुख के रूप में कार्य करने का मौका मिला, जो मेरा सौभाग्य है। मेरे इस कार्यकाल में सभी गांव में पेयजल योजना की सुविधा उपलब्ध है। सभी गांव तहसील और जिला स्टेशन पक्के रास्ते से जुड़े हुए हैं, और सभी 520 गांव में कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी और दूध कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी भी है। मैं एक बात बताना चाहती हूँ और सुझाव भी है, छोटी ग्राम पंचायत वस्ती के हिसाब में तो कम ग्रांट मिलती है, और कन्वर्जन के लिए ज़रूरी डिपार्टमेंट के बीच का ट्यूनिंग की कमी के कारण अमल करना मुश्किल होता है। अगर कन्वर्जन चीफ सेक्रेटरी के माध्यम से अगर सभी लाइन डिपार्टमेंट को फोर्सफुली बलपूर्वक मानने को कहा जाए तभी शायद संभव हो सकता है और अच्छी तरह से अमल में लाया जा सकता है।
நான் ஊராட்சி மன்ற தலைவராக பணியாற்றிய காலங்களில் சாதாரண நிலையில் ஒரு குக்கிராமமாக இருந்த கிராமத்தை ஒரு முனிசிபாலிட்டி, ஓரளவுக்கு ஒரு பேரூராட்சி அளவில் தேவையான அடிப்படை வசதிகளை, பொதுவாக கல்வி 5ஆம் வகுப்பு வரை இருந்த கல்வியை 3 கிராமங்களில் ஏறக்குறைய 10ஆம் வகுப்பு வரை கல்வி தரத்தை உயர்த்தி அந்த மாணவர்களை அங்கே அனுமதித்து இன்றைக்கு கிட்டத்தட்ட 400 மாணவர்கள் ஒவ்வொரு பள்ளியிலும் படித்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அதேபோன்று மருத்துவம், அங்கே பிரைமரி ஹெல்த் சென்டர் ஒன்று புதிதாக கொண்டு வரப்பட்டு அந்த மருத்துவ பணியும் அங்கே இருக்கின்ற செவிலியர்கள் மூலம் அதை சிறப்பாக பணியாற்றி கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. குறிப்பாக குடிதண்ணீர் வசதியை எல்லா கிராமங்களிலும் தனித்தனியாக ஒரு குடிநீர் தொட்டியை கட்டி அதற்கு நீராதாரத்தையும் தயார் செய்து அவர்களுக்கு போதிய அளவு குடிநீர் வசதிகளையும் செய்து கொடுக்கப்பட்டிருக்கின்றது. அதேபோல் கிராமங்களை இணைக்கின்ற சாலைகளை கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 10 கிலோமீட்டர் அளவு பக்கத்திலே இருக்கின்ற ஒரு கிராமம் கூட இணைப்பு இல்லாத ஒரு கிராமமாக இருந்த கிராமத்தை பக்கத்திலே இருக்கின்ற 4-5 கிராமங்களை இணைக்கக்கூடிய அளவுக்கு கிராம சாலைகளை மேம்படுத்தி செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கின்றது. அது
ప్రతి గ్రామంలో డోర్ టు డోర్ ఏ అయితే ప్రభుత్వ సంక్షేమ పథకాలు పెట్టడం జరిగిందో ఆ ప్రతిదీ కూడా గ్రామంలో ఉన్నటువంటి పంచాయతీ వ్యవస్థలో ఏర్పాటు చేయడం జరిగింది. కోవిడ్-19 నిర్మూలన కోసం ప్రభుత్వం వారు బయోడైవర్సిటీ కమిటీ, అలాగే విహెచ్ఎన్స్ కమిటీ, హెల్త్ కమిటీలు కూడా మరి గ్రామీణ వాతావరణంలో ఏర్పాటు చేయడం జరిగింది. వాటి ద్వారా కోవిడ్-19ని ఎలా నిర్మూలించాలనే దాని మీద మరి ప్రభుత్వం వారు తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయం మీద గ్రామ పంచాయతీలో అందరూ కూడా ఈ కమిటీ ద్వారా ప్రజల్ని చైతన్యవంతులు చేస్తూ ప్రజల యొక్క మనోభావాన్ని అభివృద్ధి చెందిస్తూ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది.
2171 ಕುಟುಂಬಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಜಾತಿ 145 ಕುಟುಂಬಗಳು, ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಪಂಗಡ 20 ಕುಟುಂಬಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಇತರ ವರ್ಗದ 2006 ಕುಟುಂಬಗಳಿವೆ. ಪಡಪಡಂಬೂರು ಗ್ರಾಮ ಪಂಚಾಯತಿ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ ಒಟ್ಟು ವಿಸ್ತೀರ್ಣ 1871.36 ಎಕರೆ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದು ಹಳೆಂಗಡಿ ಮುಲ್ಕಿ ಮಧ್ಯಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡಪಡಂಬೂರು ಗ್ರಾಮದ ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಮುಲ್ಕಿ ಸೀಮೆ ಅರಸು.
These are the different activities conducted to the children during their children Grama Sabha, and even sanitation related activities has been conducted to the children.
and to share our experience regarding the project which we have implemented in our panchayat regarding carbon neutrality, which directly affects the climate change. Our panchayat came forward to take the challenge, and we have come forward to be a pilot project for the same, and thus the project is running in our panchayat from 2016. Before starting to the project, we have done a number of community activities, and these are the major sectors considered for the greenhouse gas emission estimation. This is a process with the help of our NCC, NSS cadets, college-going students. We have done a detailed survey in the different parts of our panchayat regarding the emission from automobiles and all. This is the emission profile of 2016-17 of our panchayat. After ascertaining the carbon profile, I think our panchayat is the only panchayat in India which have a carbon emission profile with the help of social forestry. There was some board MNRE, GA, etc. We have converted 34 acres of barren land to forest land.
But I have an action plan of how to develop the Gram Panchayat. So for developing the Gram Panchayat, I split it into 3 categories. One is education, another one is agriculture, and then third one is basic amenities like basic development in Gram Panchayat. So we need to we need to conduct any UPSC exam coaching center in Gram Panchayat level. So this will help for any Gram Panchayats to educated people, because they are completing degree, but they are not getting any job from government side. So like I am also. So I am also educated, but I am not getting any government job because of lagging of maybe communication, lagging of languages. So इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ थोड़ा एजुकेशन लेवल में थोड़ा ग्राम पंचायत को थोड़ा ज़्यादा प्रेफरेंस देना है. So ये हमको अच्छा होगा. E-Seva Mayam, that E-Seva Mayam we started just 15 days back only, but this is we are done our in my home in last 2 years. But that's our own interest.
आप एक FPO बनाइए अपनी ग्राम पंचायत का, FPO किसान उत्पादक संगठन, फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और जितनी भी एग्रीकल्चर, लाइव स्टॉक एंड प्रोसेसिंग रिलेटेड जितना भी आप वहाँ पे उद्योग सेटअप करें, उसको किसानों का उद्यम बनाएं.
ठीक है,
कि उनका जो भी लाभ हो वो किसानों को जाए, वो किसी निजी निवेशकर्ता या प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर को ना जाए. तो
समझ गए.
रियल में सबका साथ सबका विकास और सबकी योजना सबका विकास को हम तभी संभव कर पाएंगे. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू ऑल.
So this was the concept given by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Government of India, that land use and land are essentially state subjects. It has limited resource, and there needs to be a proper planning to use the various needs of the land, how to use it. Second was, it should be technically right as well as scientific in the decision-making process, supported by people and their participatory approach. So when we do that, we need a physical, economic and social efficiency in the planning process, as well as health and well-being of the community to be looked after. In order to make it more logical and explainable, this decision was taken that along with the GIS technology today, mapping and monitoring has become easy. Using that as a tool, how can a spatial plan be made? This was the vision of the government. This was, we took up Upunda and Shankarnaran as an example, one being near the Ghat section, which is a hilly terrain, and one being next to the coast, which is next to the sea. So these two extreme context gives the various facets of Gram Panchayat as a land and how its demands would change. So first layer or first hierarchy or first importance should be the natural setting, because that is something we cannot change. We have to accept and work with it when we make the decisions. So that includes geography, climate, flora, fauna. Next is the Loka. Loka means the heritage which has come, the traditions which have come, the cultures which have come over time, which is also very important to understand and maintain. In fact, a lot of traditional knowledge systems come from there, including water harvesting. The traditional systems work very well, they are tuned to the context. Next is Desha, that is the social political context which each place has, which may not be defined in the regulations, but we have to understand the dynamics in the context of the people. And next is the current state, that is the physical part, where not only we look at present but the future. Like today we are talking of roads, but who is talking of internet? Because future may need all this also as a facility. So it was benchmarking as to every facility, where is the energy coming from, what is the waste generated, what are the services, what are the dreams of people, what do we want for the future, what are the targets we want to achieve through this master planning. We have also actually designed one demo to give them an example of how it could be built and how it can be done in terms of program as well as space. Now, different settings of houses need different type of looking after because of the terrain. So that also guidelines were given. Now here when I presented it, I was very clear that I'm not looking at Gram Panchayat anything lower than urban systems. So all the facility benchmarking quality is equal or more better than urban systems.
In fact, I had requested for some more time also, but I understand your constraints also, so I will try to be very focused. Though I am going to talk about integration of this disaster risk reduction DRR, which we call in short with GPDP, and also about some village disaster management plan. At village level, PRIs and village community, they understand more about the hazards, risk and vulnerabilities that are going to affect them. And they are also first receivers and also first responders for any disaster. They need to be prepared accordingly. It will help in making the village a resilient village. How? The community will be more aware and they will recognize the risk and hazard and take appropriate actions. Practice safe behaviors. Community will be able to meet small-scale disasters on their own. Disaster risk reduction is mainstreamed in Gram Panchayat level plans. Then risk analysis, risk communication, preparedness and risk reduction actions. Timely access to early warning information and emergency services. Continuity of basic services. Easy access to essential items and life-saving equipments. And inclusive and participatory manner for different needs and capacities. Identification of village level mitigation needs and projects. There is now, I think, all village level, what mitigation projects are needed, Gram Panchayat can develop, share it with the district at the district level, and district can, through SDMAs, can send it for mitigation funds.
What we need to do or look at SDG localizing is basically to focus on certain things which we probably are attending to normally, but are not exactly focusing on those ideas and thoughts and those aspects. So I wanted to draw your attention that localizing SDGs means to look at things in a slightly different way. It is not outside of the village. And while doing the GPDP and in the work that's happening, we heard the panchayat presidents, we heard some district panchayat chairman, we heard block panchayat president, we also heard Deepika, who spoke excellently about the sort of cluster work that is required to be done. So if we talk of GPDP, I think all of us are aware it is not just Panchayati Raj department or rural development, but all departments. That convergence, and which is what SDG is about, that everything comes together out there. And another thing, you must look at it, we need to look at it beyond government. Often we get, we always look only at government. Some talk came about the CSR aspect which is there. It is not just CSR, it is also education institutions, it's lots more. So if you start looking at various aspects, you'll see how broad it can be, and it is not only for us but for everybody. So naturally it has to go beyond the panchayat's own level beyond the government. It has to be something much larger. And how can we draw in all of it in what is localizing of SDGs? How, in which way can we do something? Whether we are working in Jal Jeevan Mission, or we are working on Swachh Bharat Mission, or we are working in panchayats, or wherever we are working. I think each of us, when we start thinking, we are certainly going to find things that can be done in our existing role. Plan for what all changes we can do. So your GPDP, when you look at it, what does it do for climate? What is it doing for the future of children? We talk of education, we will talk of colleges, we will talk of constructions. But do we talk about how much we do for environment? How much is it that nature is going to keep taking? You can ask people from forest to come and work with you. Environment and Forest Department, as I said, call activists. They will come and explain the whole thing. How will the children fit into the GPDP? Are we looking at them as, okay, I have to give them a school, construction has to take place, maybe I have to give them the toilets, maybe the water for the school, and that's a point where we stop. There is a department which will take care of their health. There is another one which is supposed to take care of the nutrition. So you have two departments separately. You have a health department and you have a Poshan Abhiyan on another thing. So, but whose children are they? They are from our village. How youth and children participate is something which in every village it is possible. Adukku arasanga thittam thevilla. Daniki oka government scheme undali. उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट का एक स्कीम होना चाहिए जिससे कि बच्चे पार्टिसिपेट करें. क्यों हम कर सकते हैं ना गांव में बच्चों का पार्टिसिपेशन सुन सकते हैं उनको क्या चाहिए. And in this, Kerala has done the child-friendly local governance. So this is something which is very doable by panchayats. What about officials? And in training, okay, training has a huge role to play in it. Whatever be the training programs, or water Jal Jeevan Mission, in a Jal Jeevan Mission training program, who stops us from talking of environment? Who stops us from talking of children? हम क्या आप सबसे हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि मेरी पंचायत में ऐसे होना चाहिए, मेरे गांव में ऐसे होना चाहिए. वो बच्चे बताएंगे हमें. ऐसे आप बच्चों को जब इन्वॉल्व करेंगे, उनको जब साथ लाएंगे, तब आपका वो चाइल्ड राइट्स जो उन्होंने बोला कि इतने साल पहले, ये सब वो कन्वेंशन है जो यूएन में हम साइन करते हैं, गवर्नमेंट साइन करती है. इसका मतलब है कि आप लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट हो. You are local self-government. You are the leaders. If you are the leaders, you have signed it as much as has the Prime Minister of India. As government, it's as much yours. As officials, you work in government. It's as much yours. So all of us are duty-bound to fulfill those conventions. We prepare a GPDP, we talk of development. We are a very developed society, highly developed, moving further and further. But on the other hand, you're having domestic violence. You're having abuse of women. You're having a whole lot of problems which can be addressed. It is necessary for us to look at these, and that the village can protect its women. How does the village protect its women? That's for us to work out. It is not that somebody else has to come and do the protection. If you're wanting to look at it, do you have, what is your tie-up between the panchayat and the police? It is not just that goal 5, SDG goal 5, gender equality. Okay, one part. What about the rest of it? Climate change la enna solranga? Climate change la worst affected is women. Ipo namakku COVID vandhudu. COVID la yaar worst affected undranga? Women. Everything you say, who is, if a job has to be given up, the woman gives up her job. Woman does unpaid labor. இந்த விஷயங்கள் வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் நமக்கு புரிஞ்சா நம்ம கிராம் பஞ்சாயத் டெவலப்மெண்ட் பிளான் எக்ஸலண்டா பண்ணிட்டோம். ஆனா விமன் பத்தி என்ன பண்ணும் அதுல? These are aspects which need to be seen under what we can say is SDG, but what is life? It's what's going on in your village. Okay, so this is things, again, as I said, training is a fantastic opportunity to communicate.
So, thank you, ma'am. It was such a thought-provoking presentation, and apologies to those of the programs which we could not accommodate. But On the other hand, I would like to thank for this wholehearted participation. It has been a learning experience for us also. We are taking away something from there which we can, tweak our policies with, so that we make it more workable. I would also like to thank NIRD for having taken the lead on this. And last but not the least, SIRD and State of Karnataka, who have made such excellent arrangements for all the participants. And a lovely cultural program was there yesterday, bringing forth the flavor of the area. So I would like to thank and I would like to.
We have formal closing.
That's why I said the formal things will come through. I would just like to place on record how much I have enjoyed, and thank you very much.